supposed to sing.
She sang parts of
did.
it.
She would like whisper into the microphone. She'd be,
Sing
like,
parts
playing,
of
and
it.
then-
Showing the parts that make sense.
and then she'd be like,
I only sang parts of it too.
Open the doors, my poor lord.
that's about what she did.
Bradley would like that song.
Oh,
Open the eyes of my four-wheel drive. Alright, should be fine. Where's the handheld mic? Listen.
Right there. They're all handheld.
No, the one without the cord. The cordless mic.
Where's the mic you hold with your feet?
Hey, where's the one that I put in my shirt? You know that little... Why is this thing so loud? Is it so you guys can hear me over top of the heaters?
Sounds like on the Price is Right.
Green level. Is that better? Is that as loud? Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me now? Is that good? Can you hear me?
Sure.
Is that alright? Vicky, can you hear me over the heaters?
yes.
Can you hear us over?
Nobody cares what Tyler's shaking his head. I don't care. Whatever you say, Tyler, I really don't care. Alright, anyways, I was really hoping that people would be back from like Alabama and Miami. So there's people in Florida right now, and there's people in Alabama. So I was gonna ask them how their trips were, because I haven't taken a trip in a long time. Sad day. Anyways, I don't have that luxury anymore. So I'm gonna ask you guys what your week was. Not Tyler, because I don't care.
Really long.
Why was it long?
It felt like it was a long time between leaving the house. Like Sunday, I stayed at home,
Yeah.
and I got really bored.
Well, maybe you should do something.
Really stellar advice right there.
Stellar.
Thanks. I'm just a bucket full of wisdom over here. Molly, how was your week?
Mine was good. I got to see my sister in Saginaw for 2 days.
That's cool. Vicky, how was your week?
Sick.
Tyler, how was your week? You thought I was going to interrupt you, didn't you? Yeah, I didn't. Well, that's good. See, the good thing about there not being a lot of people here right now is the fact that nobody gets all like shy to talk in front of people because all their friends are around. So you guys will actually talk back. So it's pretty cool. Alright, so now that I know how your guys' week went, my week went great. I worked all weekend, 10 hours every night. And so that was kind of horrible. But,
We didn't work yesterday.
actually, I worked Friday night to Saturday morning, so technically I did work yesterday.
You didn't work last night.
You're right, I didn't work last night. It was great. Rough, but I still be sleeping. All right. Anyways, we're gonna. Wesley, what are you doing? You're on your phone right now during church? Oh my goodness, this is youth group.
It better be Gina.
You best be on the phone with Jason right now.
It was Jesus.
Or John the Baptist. Okay. All right. Anyway, so let's do a little pray, and then we'll get started. Okay. Father God, I thank you for today. This is an awesome chance to get together. There's not a lot of us here this week, but that's all right. I pray that we can just open your word, that we can learn, that we can grow closer together, and that we can just figure out really where you're pointing us in our lives. Learn what it is to be a real life Christian, not just a church Christian, but the ones that actually go out in the world and can actually live it out. Thank you for an awesome week that you've given us, for the trials that you put each of us through, for the journeys that you're bringing us on. And I pray that you continue to help us just know you more. Ask it all in your son's name. Amen. All right. All right. So I do have a question. This is awesome because there's not a lot of people here, so you guys will actually answer me. This is great. Because usually for the last couple weeks, these won't answer us. They just want to sit there in silence. So I just want to ask you guys, like, why are you guys coming to youth group?
Because there are people here.
There's people here.
Kinda.
Yeah, kind of. Sometimes. Some weeks there's people, sometimes.
People under the age of like
95.
65.
Yeah, that's true. I went to Oscoda Baptist for a little while. I definitely felt like the youngest person there. I wasn't. There was like 2 people younger than me.
Florida Baptist actually had a good youth group for a while.
I know. I was there
very
during that
jealous.
time.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I was helping out. It was when Aaron was the
Right.
intern there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very jealous.
Yeah. There's people here. That's good. Good reason for me too. anybody else want to answer
Get
the
away
question.
from my parents.
Steven, you don't live with your parents. You have wife and
Exactly.
children.
My God.
All right, so Steve comes to get away from his parents. Cool. Vicky, what about you? To learn about Jesus, the Sunday school answer. I like that.
Okay.
Okay, Tyler. Tyler doesn't know why he comes to youth group. Molly, why do you come? You just started
Well,
coming.
I
so-
used to go to Trent,
Yeah.
and then that, yeah, a long time ago, and then it kind of stopped happening, and then I was like, realized Maddie's, that they started this one, not she was like, I don't know, like, well, I kind of want to start going again just because I kind of enjoyed it.
It totally looked like you were about to say something more. Yeah, those are all great reasons besides Tyler because he said he had no clue. But that's all right. That's all right. It's okay. Don't worry, Tyler. One day you'll figure it out, and it'll be great. I know growing up, I went to youth group to escape home. I had a rough upbringing, so I didn't like being at home. And then after time, they started forcing us to go to church so they could have a break. So that's why I continued to go. I didn't really learn much. One, I had ADHD, so I didn't really pay attention. And then two, I just like being the funny kid. Yeah, I was more about pleasing people than trying to figure out what God wanted me to want. So I'm asking that because some of you don't know this, but some of you do know this. For the last 2.5 years, I've been out in New York, in upstate New York at a Bible college, learning about the Word, and Bible. That's what that is, by the way. Hey, Andy. And so I was out there, and my first year there, they do snow camp, kind of like what we did at Bambi Lake, where we would, it was during the winter time, and we'd have classes from Tuesday to Friday, and then an hour after classes ended on Friday, like 350 to 400 campers, like teenagers, would come onto our school campus, and then we'd run snow camps for 4 hours straight with 2 hours of sleep. And it was awesome. It was a great time. We had super fun. And I counseled a church there, and then from that, I counseled that church during snow camp, during summer camp, during next year at snow camp, and then when they came to summer camp again, I wasn't their counselor, but they spent all their time with me anyways. And I'm saying all this because one of the girls in that group, this was a really close-knit youth group. Like, they would spend all their time together, and they would just do tons of stuff together, really close-knit. And one of the girls, I was just scrolling through my Facebook and my Instagram the other day, and one of the girls, okay, this girl was like one of the leaders in the youth group, and she, like, they have posters at their youth group of, like, from all their trips and stuff, and she's in, like, every single one. She was on our camp bulletin. Like, they took pictures at camp, and she ended up on the front of the bulletin for our camp. And so this girl, I was just scrolling through, and she's in college now. Oh my goodness. She's in college now, and there was an Instagram post where she was just like, she was completely wasted, okay, completely drunk, partying, and then she was just wishing happy birthday to all her friends and stuff like that. It was her birthday, but she was completely smashed. And, like, this is a girl who was, like, serious about God and stuff like that, was, like, talking to people about Christ, sharing the gospel with them and stuff. And now she's at college, studying to be a doctor, and she has completely gone downhill. And I got really sad, because this girl was, like, super involved in youth group, and, like, super involved in her church and stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? And it really made me think about, like, what are youth groups and what are teachers teaching the youth nowadays? Are they teaching, like, a relationship with God is something you would do at church, but as soon as you leave, it's all right to, hang out with, I guess, like, the world and be like everybody else. But then on Sundays you come to church and you're somebody different. Like, is that what we're teaching them? Is that what we're showing them? And it really got me thinking, and I was thinking about, like, do we really believe what Jesus really did can change your life? Do we really believe that Jesus is able to change your life? And I've been reading through the book of Mark lately in the old Bible here. And you get to Mark chapter 9, and Jesus is going into a town. And when he's going into this town, there's this great crowd. And the Pharisees are, like, the Jewish leaders back then. were arguing with the people. And so Jesus walked in and he was like, why are you guys arguing? Like, what's going on? And this dude steps forward and he just like, he comes up to him and he says, teacher, I have brought my son to you, for a spirit has made him mute. And whenever it seizes him, it throws him down, and it foams and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So basically, it's in Mark chapter 9. I'll just read 14, 16, right in that area. And but like basically, like this kid, this guy, his son has a spirit dwelling, like an evil spirit dwelling, and causing him not be able to speak. He's having seizures, and like then it continues to go on. You get down to verse 21, and Jesus asked his father, "How long has this been happening to him?" And the man said, "From childhood, and has often cast him into the fire, into the water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." If you notice there, he said, "But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." And Jesus goes on and he says, I'm just going to read the first part of it. And Jesus says to him, "If you can, all things are possible for the one who believes." And I can just, like, in my mind, I don't picture Jesus going like this soft-spoken God, like, if you can. You know, it's more like, in my mind, what I would do is like, what? If I can? Do you not see what I'm doing over here? I just fed like 5,000 people, like, I'm doing all this stuff. I don't know if you fed 5,000 people yet, but I didn't really exactly know that, I probably should have. But he's just like, it's like, if, like, are you serious? If you know who I am, like, that's my mind, you know. But Jesus, like, if you can do anything, like, anything is possible if you do. So I want to ask you guys, like, do you think that guy actually believed before Jesus did anything? Do you think he actually believed that Jesus was able to heal his son, or do you think he was just super desperate?
He was desperate.
Yeah. It's like, cause you read, it's like, if you can, like, if you can do anything, please have compassion on us and help. It's like, because he had already gone to the disciples. Earlier in the chapter it says, he had already gone to the disciples, and the disciples weren't able to do it. So this guy is literally desperate. His son is like almost dying because this demon is trying to kill his son. And so he's like, I need to help my son. There's these guys over here who are casting out demons. Maybe I can take my son to them, and they'll be able to do it. But the disciples weren't able to do it. And so then Jesus comes into town, and this great crowd is gathering around, talking about the stuff that Jesus has already done. And it's like maybe this is it. Maybe this guy can actually do something, you know? And it got me thinking, like, this guy didn't really believe that Jesus was able to do it. He was just desperate to try anything. And that made me think, like, do we as people, like, because there's many times that I'm like that. I'm like, God, if you can do this, that would be great. Like, if you could help me out in this situation, like, or I have a sin in my life, like a sin that I keep committing, and I just can't seem to get past it. I'm like, I get to the point where I'm desperate, because I'm trying to do everything I can to fix it, but I can't. It's not changing. So I get to the point where I'm finally desperate enough to go to God and be like, God, if you could take this sin away from me, I would greatly appreciate that. Please help me. And it's like, do I really believe that God is able to do that? Or am I just desperate for him to help me because I've tried everything myself? You know, it really got me thinking. And I don't know if that ever happens to you guys. It happens to me quite a bit, you know? And so I'm like, and that's just a question I want to put with you guys. Like, do you really believe that God is able to do things, you know, like that? Is he really able to take sin out of your life? Did he really die and cover up all your sin? You know, is he really able to find me a new car because I don't have one? Like, do I really believe God is able to find me a new car? So like, I have to ask myself that. And Stephen will tell you a story later during the regular service how God kind of really came through for him in some ways that he didn't see coming, and used some people really in a big way. And it's like, do we really believe that God is able to do anything? And like, the reason I'm getting at this is because in our day-to-day lives, typically, I've met a lot of people who claim to be Christians, but don't really believe, you know, that God is able to do really much. I know I've met some people who claim to be Christians who are just, they know all the right answers, but when it comes to life, they're always like, yeah, God just did this, God just did this. But it's like, God actually didn't, it's not actually God that was doing it, they were just doing it themselves and trying to look spiritual and fun. And it really, it sucks because like I do the same thing. Like, I'll go through life and I'll try to, I'll claim I'll be a Christian, but then my life looks completely different at times. It's like I'm a complete hypocrite. Like I say one thing, but then my life I do something else. Now I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation where you do something like that, or like I'll be talking to it happened to me when I was a counselor at Campbell. I would sit there and I would talk to these kids about, you know, what Christ said, what Christ does in your life, and how it changes and everything like that. But then in my own private life, I'd turn around and I'd be like thinking and committing the same sins that I was telling these guys not to do. You know, like showing these guys what not to do, what I was doing in my own life. And nobody knew it, but I was being a complete hypocrite. Like my life was the complete opposite of what I was saying. And the reason I say this is because I was at work the other day, and one of the guys comes up to me. And I work in an area with a lot of old men who are really perverted. Okay, it's really bad. And so one of the guys comes up to me. They all know that I'm a Christian, that I love Jesus, and that that's what my life is about. They all know it. And by the way that I treat them, and then when they ask me, I tell them. And he comes up to me and he's like, "So you're not one of those evangelists, are you?" And you guys don't know what an evangelist is. It's somebody who goes around and just shares the gospel all the time. That's what they do. They do big events, share the gospel, or they meet up with people one-on-one on the streets. And all they do is share the gospel with them. They share, you know, Christ died on the cross for your sins and rose from the dead. You know, that's what they share with them. And he's like, because those evangelists, they're the biggest hypocrites I've ever met. They're going out getting wasted and stuff at the bar, but then telling me I need Jesus. And I just think that's a whole bunch of crap. I don't really believe that. They're going to be hypocrites, like, they're worse than I am. And I'm like, what? This is what this guy has experienced when it comes to God. Like, that's his experience with God, is through Christians who are saying one thing, but living a different way. Like, they're trying to tell these guys how to live their lives, but the Christian themselves is doing exactly what this person is doing. And it really got me thinking, like, I'm a hypocrite. I do the same thing. And it really all comes back down to the fact of, do I believe that God is able to change me? Do I really believe that God is able to take my life from this point and completely transform it to this point? You know, over time, short space of time, whatever. Do I really believe it? And I was like, it really hit me hard. Because at work, I'm not the best example all the time. At work, a lot of the times, like, the guys will share, like, they'll be just joking around and laughing and stuff, and I won't be part of the joke, but I'll laugh at them sometimes, you know. Not all the time, but a lot of time I'm just like, that is absolutely disgusting, why would you say that? But then sometimes the jokes aren't really that bad of jokes, like, in my mind. And I laugh at them, and I'm just like, wait a second. Like, these jokes are still sinful, like, the things they're talking about and thinking about is still sinful, and I'm involved in myself by laughing and agreeing with them. And they see that, and they're going to start thinking, like, I'm not so different from them after all. And that this whole Christ thing, this whole church thing, religion as they call it, is like a complete sham. It's just something that people do to make themselves feel better. And it really, God really, like, working on me this week. It's like, listen, you gotta be 100% sold out, like, in your own personal life and in the public. Like, because what you believe, what you truly believe in your heart is reflected in the way that you live your life. And you can try and cover it up and put a mask on it all you guys want. As I found out the hard way, the truth eventually comes out. And so I really want to challenge you guys with that, is ask you guys, like, what do you really believe down in your core? Okay? Because it's either you believe Christ died on the cross for your sins, rose from the dead, and is going to change your life dramatically for the better, or you don't. It's either or. That's about it. You can't. It's like saying Like you can't be over here with God. I talked about this last week when I was preaching to the church. You can't be over here with God and then have one foot with God, one foot in the world, and be like